Okay. So a basic operation of cellular network is initially when the mobile is switched on, it has to scan all the channels. Once it scans and if it finds a strongest free channel, then it has to attach to that channel, and then after that it has to send some handshaking messages, like it has to request for the channel allocation with a particular user or with a particular called number. Okay, so it will request to its base station, and then the base station in turn will send the same request to MSC. Here you can see the mobile user will send the request to base station. Base station in turn sends the request to MSC, and after that the MSC will paging means it will broadcast the called party number to all the cells which it is covering. And after that, once the mobile station is located, he will respond back to MSC, and MSC will get his address, and it will be forwarded to the calling party mobile station. And after that, the mobile station and the called party and calling party both will be on the call. And then if in case if once the call is going on and if one of the user moves or shifts from one cell to another cell, we already discussed like handoff process has to take place. So handoff process means here we have two types. One is soft handoff and one is hard handoff. So hard handoff means you can see in this figure, the person A is moving from cell A to cell B, where cell A is covered by this base station 1, and cell B is covered by base station 2. In this case, before connection, before the signal, before the link has been set up with this base station, the initial link will be breakdown. Okay, so it means the ongoing call has to be disconnected first, and then again once he gets into this area, he has to register with this particular network and then initiate the call once. The process in case of hard handoff. But in case of soft handoff, we already know that if the person moves from cell A to cell B, there is no need of disconnection of call. In the background, parallelly with the ongoing call, parallelly in the background, the setting up of link with the new base station will be taking place. So this is called as soft handoff. And then coming to roaming. In roaming, roaming is a facility provided to the cell phone user to use the cellular services like telephone calls, data, or access other services when traveling outside the home network. Okay, so when he is in his home location, then initially once the mobile phone is switched on, all his data will be stored in a location register, means his home location register. Okay, that is called as location update. Again, once he moves from one area to another area, for example, if we consider one area, area 1 and area 2, initially if he purchases a sim in area 1, he puts it in his mobile station, then all the details of him will be stored in area 1 mobile switching center. Okay, once he moves from area 1 to area 2, then his data should again be registered with the MSC which is covering that area 2. Okay, so that is called as location updating, right? So here location update means the foreign network contacts the home network and requests service information. Home directory of the mobile station is updated with its current location. All right, so once he moves from area 1 to area 2, once he moves from area 1 to area 2, all his data. Okay, so once he requests for the registration with this network will in turn takes his profile or data from his home location register, which is present in cell A. Okay, so it will take all his profile and it will store in here. And after that, this will also give its address, because the mobile station has moved to the new address. This new address will be shared with this base station. Okay, so this will help when a new call comes to this particular mobile station. It will initially go to his home network. Okay, so in home network, the details will be there. At this particular time, this particular user is in this cell. Okay, how this information is there here? Because this cell has, this network has requested his profile from this particular network. Okay, so while taking the his profile, this base station will be sharing or will be keeping its address. Okay, so in this way the location update will be taking place. And then wireless network topologies, there are two types of network topologies. One is ad hoc network topology and another one is infrastructure network topology. So ad hoc network topology, it means this is similar to Bluetooth. Okay, so if you want to connect to one more person, you will not make use of the third party. The third party will not make use of the infrastructure which is not which is available. Okay, so what you will do, directly will connect from your mobile to his mobile. This is called as single ad hoc network, means it is not dependent on another device. Directly we can connect from one device to another device. Okay, this is called a single ad hoc network. Multi ad hoc network means here you can see mobile station 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now if mobile station 1 wants to connect to mobile station 4, it will make use of either mobile station 2 or mobile station 3. Okay, with through these intermediate nodes or intermediate mobile stations, this particular user is connected to this particular user. This is called as multi ad hoc network. So infrastructure based means already there is a fixed infrastructure. Okay, so through that fixed infrastructure, the devices are connected. Okay? The next one is first generation system. We already discussed first generation system means AMPS, advanced mobile phone system. Here the bandwidth what it uses for the service is 800 megahertz, right? So 800 megahertz, again it is divided, has two parts. One is forward channel and one is reverse channel. So forward channel means from base station to mobile station connection. This is called as forward channel. And from reverse channel means from mobile station to base station, right? So this 800 megahertz is divided into two. Okay? So the band between 824 to 849, this one 824 to 849 megahertz is used for reverse communication from mobile station to base station, whereas the band between 869 to 894 is used for forward communication. And then see how the bandwidth is used here. This is the channel bandwidth 25. See, you people have to mute your audio. Otherwise, again, I have to stop the class. I have to go back to the participants and then mute individual audios. This will be a problem. See how the bandwidth, channel bandwidth is divided among the users, right? So channel bandwidth is 25 megahertz. Okay. So this 25 megahertz. This 25 megahertz bandwidth is divided into 30 kilohertz channel. 30 kilohertz channel. Okay. So n number of 30 kilohertz channels, and each channel is given to particular user. So this user using a mobile station, he will send the message. So we all know that message signal will be a low frequency signal. So it has shown that 10 kbps, and once the modulation takes place, then low frequency signal is converted into high frequency signal, where it has shown here 30 kilohertz, right? So here the technique used is FDMA amps. So 1G is also called as MTS, AMTS, IMTS, and PTT. Okay, so MTS means mobile telephone system, and advanced mobile telephone system, and then improved mobile telephone service, push to talk. What are the limitations of 1G? We all know that is the quality is very poor, and the battery life was very poor. The phone size was very large. There was no security for the data, and uh, you can see the bandwidth is very limited. Okay, so the service uh, which was given by 1G was very limited. So therefore limited capacity. And the next generation is second generation. Here 2G is divided as two standards, basically TDMA and CDMA, right? So 2G systems, so 2G systems are the combination of some technologies, like some may use TDMA with FDMA, some may use TDMA again with FDMA, some may use only CDMA and FDMA. Okay, like these different combinations can be made over the technology or the standards, right? So the 2G systems, DAMS or IS-136, it is given here. It is essentially a digital version of AMPS, means it is a digital communication. Okay. So it uses the same bands and channels as AMPS. AMPS in channel use ಮಾಡ್ತಿತ್ತು, ಏನ್ 800 megahertz ಬ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿತ್ತು, ಅದನ್ನೇ ಇದು ಕೂಡ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ವರ್ಷನ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ಇಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟೂ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ಸ್. ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ TDMA and FDMA. ಎರಡು ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ಸ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ we can see how the different users are allocated with the channels. Okay, so this is a digital amps. So here digitizer is there, and here we have different modulation techniques. Coming to GSM. Okay, so we can see here in 2G system, 2G systems, we have GSM as well. GSM IS-95 CDMA, IS-136 DAMS. Okay, so this is used in some part of world, this is in some other part of world, and this is in the rest of the world. So we have discussed about IS-136 DAMS here. This is the figure which shows DAMS. DAMS means simply digital amps. So amps means one gene, first generation, right? So GSM, it used three different bands. One is 900 megahertz for its service, 1800 megahertz, and again the users increased, and again to give the service to the added users, again they bought 1900 megahertz. Okay, so initially it used only 900 megahertz. This was the original GSM. And after that, as the users grow, then it used 1800 megahertz, and again it used 1900 megahertz, right? So again this is a completely digitized, means digital communication, and it used both the techniques like TDMA and FDMA. Both techniques were used. Okay, so as we know that GSM is most popular system among all these three systems, DAMS, GSM, and IS-95 CDMA. Among these three systems, GSM was the popular system which was used in the world, and you can see this is mainly used in US, right? So in America and some parts of world, this GSM system was used, and in some other part of world, that CDMA based system were used. So how would the architecture of GSM network, network ಹೆಂಗಿರ್ತದ architecture ಹೆಂಗಿರ್ತದ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, this is the main network, right? So in the network, above we'll be having a network subsystem, and in between a mobile user and this network subsystem we are having a base subsystem, right? So here we are having a user. So what the user is having? User is having a mobile phone with a SIM card inserted in his mobile phone. Okay. So mobile phone will connect to the network subsystem with the help of BSC. So what is BSC? BSC means base switching center. Okay. So each base switching center can manage 2 to 3 BTS. So what is BTS? Base trans receiver system. Similarly, one MSC can monitor or maintain or manage 2 to 3 BSCs, right? So MSC means mobile switching center. So here in MSC we have some co-location registers, means it performs a certain operations, like this MSC maintains home location register, it also maintains visitor location register, also maintains equipment identity register, and then authentication center. So what is HLR? As I said, if a mobile user has bought a SIM card in one particular area, for example area 1 or cell A, in cell A the user 1 has bought a SIM card and he has put that SIM card into the mobile phone, then cell A's MSC will store all his data. Okay. So cell A's MSC and co-location register, location register will become his home location register. Now if cell A moves from if mobile user moves from cell A to cell B, then cell B's MSC will also be having the location register that will become visitor location register for that mobile user. Okay. Now what is equipment identity register? So equipment identity register means this will identify the equipment. It means whether the particular IMEI number who wants the service and wants to use the service, okay, he is a registered user or not, that will be identified by this equipment identity register. And authentication center will authenticate the user, whether he is a whitelisted user, is he allowed to use the system, or is he not allowed to use the system, or is he a blacklisted user. Okay. So that will be seen by, that is the work of authentication center. Okay. So basically GSM system network architecture is divided into 3 things. One is mobile user side, one is base station side, and one more is network subsystem. The same thing is explained here. Coming to the third generation system. Okay. So once 1G is completed, we got some improvement in the technology. We shifted from analog to digital. We called it as 2G, and after 2G we got 2.5G, and then GPRS, and 2.7G we called it as edge networks. Okay. Which offered very much faster data transfer and better voice quality with high speed packet switch data up to 2 Mbps, right? But in 3G system, here is where smartphones were introduced. Okay. So 3G networks operate on frequency band between 400 megahertz to 3 gigahertz. Okay. So now the bands were very much extended. You can see it is from 400 megahertz to 3 gigahertz. Okay. So in between 400 megahertz to 3 gigahertz, the frequency bands are distributed. There are two main networks in 3G. One is Universal Mobile Telephone Telecommunication System, and the next one is CDMA 2000. So both these systems use CDMA technology, right? And you can see the how is the architecture. So just now we have seen the architecture of GSM. This is the architecture of GSM, right? Now GSM means 2G. Now how is the architecture of 3G? Okay, so this is the architecture of 3G, where the mobile station will remain same. This is the user part, and this is base station part. Okay, this is base station part, and this is network subsystem part, right? So in network subsystem part, we have packet switch domain and circuit switch domain. Okay, so packet switch domain means this is a wireless network, basically, where MSC we already know, mobile switching center. GMSC means gateway MSC, gateway mobile switching center. Okay, so through gateway, the calls are routed to the other network, right? This is the meaning of gateway MSC. Gateway MSC is again a same MSC, but this is in between two different networks. This is the reason this is called as gateway. This acts like a gate, okay, in between two different networks. And in packet switch domain, we have SGSN, means service GPRS support node. GGSN means gateway GPRS support node. Okay, so as this is the case here, if you want to send the data from one network to another network, we have to go through gateway MSC. Similarly, here also in the packet switch domain, if you want to send the data from SGSN from this network to another network, we send it through gateway GPRS support node. Okay, just GPRS means global general packet radio service. Okay, it means the wireless data. So what is IMS? IMS means IMS IP multimedia system. It is IMS means IP multimedia system. Now coming to CDMA technology. Okay, so means the major technology what is used in 3G is CDMA. Okay, we all know CDMA means code division multiple access, right? So this is similar to frequency division multiple access, wherein we also have we also use codes here. Okay, so it optimizes the use of available bandwidth. The technology is commonly used in ultra high frequency, and we also have uh, we also have a formula called as capacity of a mobile telecommunication system, which is given by B log 1 plus SINR to the base 2. So SINR means signal to interference ratio, it is, right? So this CDMA offers different advantages like error control coding, spreading of the spectrum, soft handoffs, strict power control. Means power is controlled here. Means a minimum power utilization is being done in 3G. And soft handoffs means without disconnecting a call, the mobile user can shift from one area to another area while on ongoing call. Okay, so spreading of spectrum means the 3G network is using a large bandwidth, so where we can accommodate more users. And error control coding means these are some coding techniques which are used by this particular technology so that the errors are reduced. Okay, and then LTE means long term evolution. This is the advanced version of third 3G. We call this particular LTE as 4G network. Now what is the difference? In the previous case, we used QPSK has the modulation techniques. We use CDMA technology. But here we use OFDM, orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. Also, it is used with quadrature amplitude modulation technique. Okay, and the data rates here are up to 100 Mbps. The previous one it was up to 2 Mbps or 20 Mbps, but here now it is 100 Mbps. All right. So again, the this is also called as UMTS, means Universal Mobile Telecommunication Service. This is the main technology which is used in 3G, right? So 3G we have mentioned here, UMTS and CDMA 2000, right, in 3G. So, but in LTE, we have Universal Terrestrial Radio Access Network. Okay. If we look at the diagram, architecture of LTE, this is the architecture of LTE, right? Where EPC is there, server PDNs, packet data networks, and EUTRAN. Okay. Basically, EPC means Evolved Packet Core, right? So this is a packet switched domain, and it provides no support for circuit switched domain. It is totally wireless.